Hypixel Skyblock is known for having unique items, quests, and even glitches. Many of these still exist today and are known only to a select amount of players. In today's video, I'll be going over lots of interesting items, locations, and NPCs that have either been unnoticed or completely forgotten about. As always, if you enjoy the video or find it useful, consider leaving a like and subscribing. I'd really appreciate it and it helps the channel out a ton. I'm also hosting a 100 million coin giveaway on my Discord with no requirements as a thank you to all my subscribers. The Discord link is in the description. This video will be split up into 3 segments: locations, items, and NPCs. I can't guarantee that everything I'm about to go over is new information to you, but I've tried my best to be as unique as I can. Starting off, locations. Have you ever played on a floor 6 in dungeons and noticed that in the boss room your teammate looked to be as they were flying? Well, this isn't actually the case. There is a random barrier block on the left side of Sedan's elevator that you can teleport on top of. For some reason, this block hasn't been removed ever since Floor 6 was released back in 2020 on October 1st. My guess is that the admins are very busy and don't bother fixing small things that aren't game breaking. I do wonder how and why the barrier block was placed there in the first place and how it was discovered. If you play dungeons a lot, you've probably discovered that you don't need to clear every single mob in a room. The real question is, how do you know what mobs to kill? Well, if you look closely at the dungeon mobs, you'll see that some mobs have a star on the left side of their name tag. This is an intended feature to help the players figure out what mobs are needed to be killed for the door keys to be dropped. When I first found this out, I was shocked due to the fact that the stars had been right in front of my eyes this whole time. I had only killed the necessary mobs using muscle memory. This is what you eventually want to aim for, but the stars have helped me out a lot in the new rooms. Speaking of hidden in plain sight, there is a special achievement that you can get by placing a flower for 5 minutes straight. Yeah, I'm not kidding, it's one of the strangest quests. Anyway, head on over to the park with a flower in hand. You'll see that to the slight northwest, there's a lonely pot on a chisel stone brick block. The most efficient way to get the achievement is to hold your right click while holding the flower. After 5 minutes straight, you'll get the achievement called Empty Flower Pot. In my opinion, this is one of the strangest quests, but hey, it's an easy way to get a free 5 Hypixel points. You can also flex on your friends for wasting 5 minutes of your time. Achievements may not affect your Skyblock stats, but quests like collecting fairy souls do. This next location is based in the coal mines. You can get there by walking straight ahead in the hub, then stopping when you reach TNT. If you find a minecart on your left, you've come to the right place. Here, there's a secret room that can only be accessed by riding the minecart down the track. In this room, you'll find a fairy soul. Be sure to return the minecart back to the surface once you've finished with it. Other people in the lobby won't be able to get the fairy soul if you warped out of the room and left the minecart there. Here's another fairy soul that has some backstory to it. Some of you might remember the Dante event that happened when Dante was mayor. There were a lot of new items added into the game, such as the Armor of the Rising Sun set, Staff of the Rising Sun, and the Dante Talisman. Luckily, Technoblade was able to save the day and defeat Dante, which was followed by a number of different mayor buffs. When Dante was on a rampage, he made a big mess of the hub, destroying almost every building. Now, all but one of the buildings have been rebuilt, this being the Colosseum. By doing this, a fairy soul was left floating above the Colosseum, which to my surprise is still functional. You'll need a teleportation weapon like the Aspect of the End to reach the fairy soul, so I'm sorry early game players, but you'll need to wait until the Colosseum is fixed. I've got no clue why the admins didn't put the fairy soul in a more accessible spot, but as I said before, the staff team are probably busy and don't worry about the small things. Now onto the items. I assume many of you already know about the teleportation tools such as the Aspect of the End, Aspect of the Void, or Hyperion with the Shadow Warp Scroll. All of these have something in common to do with their teleport ability which you'll never forget. If you right click the tool, you'll see that it will teleport you the amount of blocks the item ability says in the direction you are looking. Now, open F3 and look at your coordinates. You'll see that you've been placed exactly in the middle of the block you teleported to. Whoa, that's weird, don't know who put that there. Teleporting to the middle of a block makes sense from a programming point of view, but it's one of those things that once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. At least it makes those perfectionists happy. Talking about item abilities, did you know that the Ice Spray wand has nearly the exact same item ability animation as the Aspect of the Dragons? Not only that, but they generate the same random dragon roar noise. The only few noticeable differences are the changing particles, with the Aspect of the Dragons having orange flame particles whereas the Ice Spray wand having white ice particles. Another thing is that the animation spirals don't exactly line up particle to particle, but it's extremely close. The one's particles fall directly onto the ground, whereas the AOTDs linger in the air until they disappear. This really makes me wonder if the admins copied and pasted the animation code, then made some minor changes. The Ice Spray wand would have been copied off the aspect of the dragons because it was released well before the wand. The Crystal Hollows was an update that completely changed Skyblock's economy. It brought many new items into the game, such as the Armadillo. If you've been watching my videos, you'd probably know by now that I love using the pet because of how broken it is. One example of this is being able to insta-break crystals, leading to extremely efficient gemstone mining. Armadillos, however, have energy, and this runs out while the pet is moving forward or side to side. Little do people know that it actually doesn't consume energy when you go backwards or press S on your keyboard. Unfortunately, this doesn't break the blocks directly behind you, but by spinning around, you can break the blocks around you and even under yourself. Another annoying glitch that I found using the Armadillo pet is that when you spawn it and ride it straight away, you can't move in any direction unless you jump. To fix this, let your Armadillo move a tiny bit before you hop on. Now you've probably opened a white, green or red gift and discovered a tier 1 snow minion which is worth around 1 million coins. Some people use opening gifts as a money making method because of their great odds. Some may invest in red gifts, whereas others invest in white. However, many do not realize that they have the exact same chance to drop a snow minion. Tier 1 snow minions have approximately a 0.5% chance to be dropped in all gifts, no matter what color. I've gotten this information from the Hypixel Skyblock wiki, so if it is incorrect, please let me know in the comments. Now on to NPCs. Remember when Dungeons and the Dungeon Hub were released? This is also when NPCs Malik, Mort and Ophelia were added into the game. Essentially, Mort opens a dungeon party finder. Malik does a range of things including reforging and essence upgrades. Ophelia owns a dungeon shop where dungeon potions, armor and weapons are sold. Believe it or not, these NPCs have forgotten twins that are located in the hub. You can find them by going straight ahead in the hub and turning left once you pass the minecart mentioned earlier. Head down the tunnel until you see dungeon skulls and the NPCs. They function exactly like the ones in the dungeon hub, but take a little longer to get to, which is why they're being completely neglected. Talking about being neglected, the wizard NPC and his portal haven't been touched by the admins in what seems to be forever. Don't worry though, because it will be fixed in 3 to 5 business days. Yeah, like that'll ever happen. On a more useful topic, Melody. The NPC known to be Hyping's worst enemy actually has a simple trick which you can use to make her harp a ton easier. This is the middle click mouse button. Instead of using your left click while timing the notes, middle click your mouse. It doesn't pick up the blocks, which in return gives a seamless transition. Despite knowing this handy trick, it took me a couple of hours to master the harp. Frequent lag spikes don't help either, but the Melody's hair talisman will help a lot in the long run. Do you ever wonder what is on the top of the mountain in the hub? Well, it's probably not what you think. There is an NPC called Scoop that sells a 2,500 coin shovel that isn't actually a shovel. Weird, right? Well, in the description of the snow shovel, unlike other shovels, it displays its rarity, not the type of tool it is. You can get to the top of the mountain by walking past the Dungeon Hub portal and climbing the staircase. After a bit of parkour, you'll make it to Scoop's house. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Don't forget to join my Discord. Thanks for watching. See ya!